Hello, 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 hello. What is up, everybody? We just had a debate.
I think Donald Trump has turned it into like 100, maybe 110-minute debate, but it's all in favor of him those last 10, 15 minutes. We were watching to see where he goes. He says he's made some promises to get on some shows just beyond us, our Fox News, and there's obviously other news organizations here. We're going to keep an eye out to see where he's headed. If he pops around here...
Sorry, I think I lost the stream for a second, but I think I'm back.
Results of this debate. Republicans in a much different mood after this debate than they were in Atlanta. That has been clear from all the reporting we've done, all the conversations I have. I know you've had similar conversations as well. I'm sort of...
Yeah, I mean, guys, let's be honest here. Kamala won that debate. Did she do as good as she could possibly do? No, but she still did well. And Trump, again, just totally nuts, totally absurd. I just wanted to see some of the live reaction after the fact here.
Updates. I'll let you know what happens.
I know I'll see you in that scrum in probably about 3 minutes from now. Tom, thank you very much. Chuck, let me go to you on this. Are you surprised that Donald Trump showed up after this debate at all? And are you surprised that he's declining to commit to a second debate? And I promise I'm not trying to ask leading questions.
Look.
All right, we don't need to hear from Chuck Todd. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I mean, I think I said most of what I had to say about the debate on my dad's stream. Yeah, Kamala did well. Not a 10 out of 10, but very well. Trump sounded totally nuts. You know, I guess if you totally believe that Biden is ruining the country and immigrants are taking over and ruining everything, I guess he was compelling. But other than that, he sounded totally nuts. Yeah, I mean... legitimately, the most crazy thing I think I've ever heard a politician say, that immigrants are eating dogs and cats, eating people's pets. And I don't want to get too dug into the humor of it, because it was also, like I said in my dad's stream, sickeningly racist. I mean, this idea that, you know, that there's these immigrants running around eating pets is not even a racist dog whistle. I mean, it's just plain racist.
Did Kamala Harris persuade anybody to her side? I think she did a great job tonight making this debate about Donald Trump. But I also understand why Kamala Harris wants another debate. I don't think she did enough to explain to voters what she would do as president.
Oh my God, I'm so sick of this line from the media. She hasn't said what she's going to do. She did as much as she possibly could in this debate to say what she was going to do. And the man she's running against has never said a concrete thing that he was going to do ever, except for maybe build a wall. Well, he said it, but he's never, infrastructure. He never did it. I'm so sick of this line about Kamala. She didn't really say what she's going to do for this country. Yes, she did. And the man she's running against said that immigrants are eating dogs.
Right? Whatever she said about him.
Wharton Business School, Charlottesville,
right.
John McCain, your crowd, these things that we know get under his skin.
My dog doesn't chase after that many squirrels. Okay? That's how many squirrels he started chasing after.
True. Daniel Grieve says, thank you to you and your pops. Y'all are more informative. You're funny and personable. You're getting us through this election. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. The musical stylings of Brent Bunson. She did tell us her plans, and anyone can visit her website for more information. I agree. Like, especially in this format, she did about as good as she can in telling people what she was going to do. Dr. Ash is saying, my family got around to watching your movies. A stray had me on my tippy toes. I was blown away. Anybody telling you to take over your dad's key hasn't seen your films. Thank you, Dr. Ash. Me times X-Man says, Kamala destroyed Trump tonight. What's up, Ruben? The residents there have testified that Haitians are eating their pets. Oh, so now it's black immigrants. Got it. Thanks, Cameron. Just because somebody said something doesn't mean it's necessarily true. You know that, Cameron, right? And the government official says there's no evidence of it, right? And even if one Haitian ate a pet, it is not big enough for the president to talk about it on a debate stage. Even if 3 immigrants ate somebody's pets, it is not a big enough issue for a president to bring up on a debate stage. Am I right? Yes or no?
Trump campaign's hope and their strategy prefer.
Secretary of State Andrews says she was terrible on climate change, though. She would be better than Trump, but it's getting bad. I agree she was terrible on climate change, but she's in a lose-lose situation. She's in Pennsylvania. You know, one point Trump actually did make, you see countries like Germany try to get away from fossil fuels, and then they have to come running back to it. I don't know what she should say. I agree and rightfully so, she's attacked about it because she's flippy floppy on it, but yeah, I'm not sure what she's supposed to say.
You have to ask if she wants a second debate so that she can hammer that.
But do people get what I'm saying? Like, even if there is one instance of some Haitian man some Haitian immigrant eating somebody's pet in Indiana, it is not worth the president. It is not big enough issue for the president to speak about it on a debate stage. Right? And that's saying that's even true. We don't even know if it's true, right?
Trump in the spin room, talking to Andrea, by the way. Andrea
and Garrett heard that first question
Garrett,
Yep.
Always getting to the front. Good for them. It just speaks to the fact that, yes, he clearly came off that stage and his allies, his advisors knew.
Master says the rumor is not even 2 days old. That's another point. We don't even know what the fuck is happening, and he said it on a debate stage. I can't believe I'm even giving this, like, even a little bit of room, but yeah.
For the swingiest counties in the Philadelphia suburb. I've been fascinated to listen to your conversation with these undecided voters here, given that as we've been
Oh, fuck.
process. Tell me everything you're hearing from them.
Trump says best debate ever. He said that.
It would take me at least an hour, but I will tell you.
Who is this?
I'll try to synopsize for you. I've got 3 voters with me. If you saw me earlier tonight, you know that we're at the church.
Johnny Chow says Springfield officials say there's no migrants eating pets. Right. That's the fact of the matter right now. Period.
Registered independent, and Andrew Wallace, who's a registered Democrat, all of whom came into the night saying, you're undecided.
I kind of like watching
don't know what to do.
these
Even
undecided
though you're all
voters.
registered different parties, you're sort of equally undecided. I guess the big question is what changed for you tonight, if anything at all. It sounds to me like, so far, talking to you at length, not very much has changed. Fair? Fair. Not very much has changed. I want to ask the 2 women about abortion rights, because there was a moment in the debate, it came up, and I looked at you, and the 2 of you were leaning forward and looking emotional and very engaged. Hannah, you seemed angry at some of what you heard Donald Trump say about abortion rights.
Absolutely, because he was intentionally sensationalizing and giving false information, essentially disinformation.
Facts, girl.
You're talking about when he talked about how long states will allow abortions to happen.
Yes. There's absolutely no woman who is 9 months pregnant that is walking into a doctor's office and asking for an abortion.
Get him, girl.
Unless there is a medical, unless it's out of medical necessity.
Is that an issue that motivates the 2 of you? Like, is that going to make you want to vote for perhaps Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris?
It's an important factor. There's just so many other things that concern me more that I can't say that that's my top. That's not my top.
Andrew, you said earlier you don't want to weigh in much on this because you feel like as a man it's not your place. But you did say that you wished that Harris had actually defined her views more.
She was asked by the moderators where she would
draw the line.
Draw the line on what week she would allow an abortion, and she wouldn't answer the question. So I think.
Why don't Democrats answer that question? Is that it's because it's too much of a gray area that they don't want to touch it? I mean, that is, I don't know, maybe people know.
Had a pretty good night, Lynn, you thought?
I thought she had a very good night.
A lot of what she said resonated with you.
Yeah, I thought she was in command. I thought she countered what he had to say without getting too sucked in down the rabbit hole with him. I thought she had a good night.
And yet you told me you're still not 100% sure you would vote for her.
I'm
That's
not
nuts.
100% sure I would vote
Come
for her.
on.
Would I,
That's nuts.
Do I wish that there was another candidate between these two? I do. I'm not happy with either candidate.
Why aren't you happy
That's
with
why
Kamala?
this
What's
is
her
so
issue?
hard for me.
And you were vocally, saying, "Oh, come on," when former President Trump would say some things tonight, like when he brought up immigration again and again.
Well, he just talks in extremes. Everything's, everybody knows this. He just talks in.
Right. So why are you still undecided? You have two choices, lady. All right. Maybe Kamala's not perfect. Maybe you don't love the Biden administration. But you just said how nuts Trump is, and you're still undecided.
You told me you're about 51% Trump, 49% Harris right now after the debate tonight.
Yeah.
Moved a tiny bit for you. Some of the things that former President Trump said tonight seemed, you were nodding along when he talked about the Afghanistan withdrawal, when he talked about
What did he say about that?
immigration, I believe, parts of that.
God.
And when he talked about...
I would like to know how many immigrants have committed crimes against this man or his community. My prediction would be 0.
Okay, that was the part, the piece that you...
There was an ACLU survey that came out 2 days ago.
Was there anything in there that now leads you to think, well, maybe I will pull the lever for Donald Trump? Because you did vote for him in 2016. You all did.
I did.
Right?
I think Trump is trying to change his tactic. Trump is the best when he plays to his base, and I don't know if I don't like it, but when he is off the cusp, when he insults people. I mean, the big thing for him in 2016, it was what he said to Hillary Clinton: "You'd be in jail." And he's trying to play more mellow. I think he's trying to get the moderate vote, which I think is turning his base off. And I think that's why.
In what context is he being more
did
mellow
worse tonight? Because I think he was more presidential than he was in any debate in the past.
And the moderates don't believe him.
And the moderates don't believe him,
exactly. That's you guys.
Yes. But
what is this guy talking about?
Trump is trying to...
He was more presidential in this debate than he ever has been? What is he talking about?
Nationalism will be our credo, and that's what drove him to his election victory in 2016, not globalism. He doesn't talk about globalism. He doesn't talk about anything like that. I think Donald Trump is trying to become a mainstream, middle-of-the-road Republican, which is what Republicans don't, which is what his base doesn't want.
I don't know what this guy is saying.
I think it's been the theme of his campaign.
Okay.
What?
Hannah, I want to go back to you. So you came into tonight saying you're sick and tired of the lack of bipartisanship, and you wanted to hear policies that could actually get done. Did you hear any?
So I took notes. And
good for you.
One of my notes says that, one thing that Kamala did was she addressed, she attempted to address her policies to an extent with housing, abortion, climate change, and race. A lot of the time, Trump addressed Kamala. He wasn't talking about policies. He was calling her a liar. So that kind of turned me off a little bit.
This girl's the most coherent because she actually took notes.
Some of them don't seem realistic, and she has a lot of questions she needs to answer before I can confidently say, this is my vote for you.
I was just going to say, you're still undecided as we sit here tonight. Thank you guys for staying up so late with us. Really appreciate it. Hallie, I'm not sure if you guys you're having trouble hearing my microphone, or you hear me okay? Okay.
We're hearing you.
It's all good. Back to you.
We got you.
Okay. It's been fascinating.
Please
with these folks.
give our deep thanks to those voters who watched that debate with you, who are sharing their insights here live on NBC News. Kate, thank you very much. I think we're heading back to Tom Yamas now in the spin room live in Philadelphia. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Hallie. Yeah, I want to let our viewers know we still have eyes on former President Trump, who we think this is the first time he's entered a spin room since 2016 when he was up first candidate for the first time in his life. He's doing an interview right now. We're going to have our cameras on him and the microphones. As soon as he wraps that, we're going to try to talk to him as well. For now, I want to bring in NBC News political analyst and former senator from Missouri, Claire McCaskill, and Jennifer Stefano. She's a Republican political strategist who knows this area very well. We thank you both for joining us here. Senator, I'm going to start with you. You hear those undecided voters, and they're still undecided after this debate. You've won a lot of elections.
Nuts.
You know what it's like to campaign and try to win over those undecided voters. What do you think it's going to take in these last few weeks?
Well, first of all, those were 3 people. And it's very hard to make any conclusions with talking to 3 people.
Well, yeah, duh.
We'll find out over the next few days if her ability
to me, it's just striking that you can be that middle of the fence, right? Before the debate, you're like 50-50 Trump, Kamala. And after that debate, you're like, yeah, I'm still 50-50. I'm not shocked that people support Trump, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just shocked that those type of people, again, who are like 50-50 one way or the other, completely undecided, they claim, and they watch that and they think, yeah, nothing really swayed me. That's what I don't get.
I think that's what they were looking for. Can she go toe-to-toe with Kim Jong-un? Well, she sure went toe-to-toe with Donald Trump today.
Yeah, she did. You can't deny that.
The debate, you were sitting next to me, we were watching it together. There were times when you were frustrated. Why?
Well, I think the president did, in fact, take the bait when he shouldn't have, because hands down, he won this debate on policy. And he was able to answer the question that Vice President Harris would not. And that is whether or not people are better off than they were 4 years ago. And unfortunately, they're not. Okay, most Americans do not believe they are better off now.
Well, they're wrong.
So I think, but what President Trump did by coming here into the spin.
I'm so sick of that talking point, the idea that Republicans keep saying, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Okay, just purely factually, the answer is no. We were in the middle of a pandemic. Our economy was crashing. Nobody was better off 4 years ago than they are now. Okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He was the president during a once-in-a-century global pandemic. But the idea that you think he handled that pandemic well, being the most scientifically advanced country, being the richest country in the world, if you think that he handled that pandemic well, you're nuts. I know he said we bought ventilators, I don't know what else he said. I firmly believe that the world could have dealt with COVID if China and the US had dealt with it properly. Donald Trump did not.
We're gonna pause for a second. This is former President Trump right now, live in the spin room right.
I mean, 1 million Americans died. Imagine in any other context, 1 million Americans died. People would be calling it, the person leading our country would be calling, one of the worst leaders of all time. But it's like, oh, but it's a pandemic, so he's excused for everything. No, as a leader during a pandemic, you have choices to make. You are the leader. You can make decisions that make or break how we did with the pandemic. He did terribly. How do we know? Look at the deaths. Look at how our economy tanked. Period.
Come in the spin room unless they lost the debate.
We're going to go get Garrett Haight live in the spin room just next to me by former President Trump. Garrett, what are you hearing? What can you see?
Tom, the former president just finished a hit on Sean Hannity's show here, appearing in the spin room. And I think, as the senator was saying correctly, I think he's here because he knows he did not perform as well as he wanted to. I mean, you just don't show up in here to make your case after the fact if you made your case on the debate stage. I asked Donald Trump exactly that question when he first came out of the room. I'm looking to see if he's going to come back out here behind me. He's pinned down against the wall here, essentially taking more questions. And he cited all these, perhaps non-existent poll numbers suggesting that he had won tonight and that he needed to make that point. And not only did he not commit to participating in another debate, he actively walked back his long-standing commitment to debate Kamala Harris and before her Joe Biden anytime, any place, anywhere. He had been on paper committed to 3 debates with sort of 1 remaining on the calendar, now saying he doesn't.
All right, Cameron says the moderators were on Kamala's side. What are you basing that off of exactly? I would say that they gave Trump way more time than they give her. I don't know what else you're basing the fact that moderators were on her side, because you just have this instilled, the media's biased, the media's left wing, et cetera, and you just always spew that. I don't know what other evidence you have.
Swift endorsement, which I think was news to him when the question was asked.
All right, Garrett Haight with that update as we track the former president's movements throughout this spin room. If we see him again, we're definitely going to bring him live. A lot of action happening out here in the spin room and in Philadelphia, but we're going to go back to New York right now and Hallie.
Listen, we're going to talk about it all, Tom. Everything from Donald Trump to Taylor Swift. You get it all here on NBC News. Tom, thank you very much. We'll check back in with you as you keep an eye on the former president. Hogan Gidley is with us, somebody who knows Donald Trump well. Okay, we've seen candidates in spin rooms in primary debates. We've seen that at moments.
All the time.
Sure. And it is also, I think, just demonstrably, verifiably a thing that often happens. It happens when they don't do well. Right?
I guess it could in some instances.
Okay, why do you think Donald Trump's
I just
out
think
there
it's
tonight?
always funny when members of the media always start a sentence with, you know, normally in politics,
Because
and
it's
then it's
Donald
Donald Trump. That's not the way he sees
Okay.
things. He sees a group of cameras, a group of journalists, and he says, you know what? I want to go right
Then
there.
why didn't
I
he
want to
do it
go
at the
right in the
last
middle
debate?
of it. I'm sorry?
Why didn't you spin at the last debate?
Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't.
Okay.
I mean, look, you can't just ascribe he thought he lost the debate. That's why he went in there. When
I'm not-
he would
I'm not ascribing,
I know
I'm
that.
asking you
I'm
the
saying
question.
you, the royal you, the people out there, because that's not Donald Trump. You can't pigeonhole him like that. I bet what he did was he went back there, he talked to the folks, and they said, how do you think I did? He said, you did great. And she wouldn't answer any of these questions. Well, should I go tell them that? Sure, go hammer it some more.
I don't know what this guy's
And so he just
saying.
went away,
He's saying about a
went
bunch
out
of
there
nothing.
to swing the axe a few more times.
If you were still advising him right now, would you tell him to do a second debate? With the caveat that he may or may not listen to you, but how would you advise?
That's always a good caveat. Look, I don't know, because it's interesting. Maybe I want to wait some time and see.
This guy's just saying nothing, dude. Holy shit. This is why people hate politics, guys like this. I don't want to personally disparage the guy, but yeah, I think people don't like politics because people come on and these political experts like him just come on and say a bunch of nothing. David Pakman debated this guy. Maybe I'll watch that.
May be concerned, she may be worried, because typically if you were Kamala Harris and you thought you really did wipe the floor with them, you'd want to.
All right, Cameron, you keep saying that Venezuelans are taking over Colorado, and I'm going to put you in a timeout because I don't know if that's true. And this idea that brown people are taking over a white state just rubs me the wrong way. J.U. Yuka says, I don't watch corporate media anymore. Political figures are so fake. Do people not want to watch this? Let me do a poll. Should I keep on NBC? Yes, no.
He'll need to clean up and clarify.
No, I mean, 3 weeks ago.
The other thing was saying that Venezuelans are taking over Colorado. It's as if it's an invasion and that the white people of the state are being taken down. You know, that's just not true. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, there may be a lot of Venezuelans entering Colorado, but when you use words like taking over, that's when it becomes racist. You know what I'm saying?
Times that's not going to happen. But she just lets her policies change 180 degrees through surrogates, and she didn't have to answer for any of it.
She was asked about some of that, of course, tonight. We'll talk more about that. I know Tom's got a co-chair for the Harris-Walz campaign with him right now.
All right, Hallie, thank you for that. Yeah, with me now, co-chair for the Harris-Walz campaign and senior advisor to the DNC, Cedric Richmond, a former representative from the great state of Louisiana. Yep. Representative, thank you for being here. First, how are your people in Louisiana? How's New Orleans doing and everyone else with this hurricane fast approaching?
Well, everybody on the Gulf Coast, we're resilient, we're strong. This is a strong storm, but it's smaller than the really big one. So I expect that, you know, we'll get some bruises, but we won't get knocked down. And
I don't think I can put on MSNBC or CNN because it's cable. This is, you know, like a YouTube live show. So it's either this or nothing, basically. So vote accordingly.
And not just talking points of somebody who's really stuck in the past. It just amazed me that Donald Trump is still infatuated with the 2020 election and that he won when he really lost by 7 million votes. And then you had
didn't the vice president essentially make the debate about Trump? I mean, he kind of was defending his record because that was the strategy.
Well, no, what she made it about the fact that he's stuck in the past and that she wants to chart a new way forward. And what I really was proud about with the vice president is that she took issues head on. She said, look, housing costs are too high, grocery costs are too high, healthcare costs are too high, and here's my plan. We're going to build 3 million houses with the private sector, and we're going to bring those costs down. We're going to continue to bring healthcare costs down, and we're going to bring groceries down, and here's how I'm going to do it.
You advise the campaign directly. You speak with the vice president. Will we see more unscripted moments? Will there be town halls, more sit-down interviews, maybe a news conference? Are we going to see that?
You're going to see a lot more from her. This is what I think that people didn't understand.
Yeah.
It was just 60 so days ago that she became the nominee, or when the president stepped down. So she had to spend time securing the votes. Then she had to pick what is your most important decision as a president, which is who's your running mate.
Right.
Then she had to put on a convention. And then we had the debate. And tonight, I think the American people saw, one, who she was, two, where.
Ken Sung says these people are not undecided. That's kind of how I feel too. I feel like they're Trump supporters who are like trying to like find every reason to vote for Trump, but don't publicly want to say it. I know that's nuts to say, but that's just my opinion.
Callie, we're going to wrap up our coverage now as we get to the top of the hour here. An incredible political night, right? Regardless of your political party. It was a fascinating debate. We learned a lot. It'll be interesting to see where the race goes from here.
Yeah.
I know you and I will be covering every single step of that race.
Well, let's talk about what's next. We've got that vice presidential debate set for October 1st. And later on this week, Tom, you will see these candidates, all of them, both tickets, barnstorming critical battleground states back in.
All right, these guys are boring. And the poll's at 51%. So I'm going to turn it back to the chat. All right. People wanted me to interview my dog about the Trump comments. Okay, one second. Come here, Bubs. Come here, little Bubba. Come here. People want to say hi to you. He's like leaning into the bed like, I don't want to come. Come on, Bubs. Come on. Come on. Okay. Here we go. All right. Keeks. Kiko. Are you afraid that people are going to eat you? At any moment, have you had has somebody approached you asking you for if they could eat you for dinner? Keeks. Do you believe in Donald Trump's dog pet eating immigration rhetoric? Do you support pets across the nation? He doesn't seem that worried. He doesn't seem that scared. Keeks, is there any fear in your heart of being eaten by a Haitian? Nope. He's no fear at all. No fear at all. Keeks, are you scared that someone's gonna eat you? Nope. Look, walked right away. Sat down. He's good to go. No fear there. Yeah, he's sleepy. He was napping during. Somehow he knows like when we're live, and he just chills and naps usually during it. Hey Sam, Kamala whooped his behind tonight. She mopped the floor with him. I would say she beat him. I don't know if I would say she whooped his behind. You know you love your dog when you talk to him on a different pitch. I didn't even realize I was doing that. Oops. Taylor Swift endorsement, can you put it up? Did she write something in particular? Like, did she say? Let's see. Taylor Swift. Okay, hold on one second. Don't play a video. Oh, here we go. Oh, she did an Instagram post, huh? Okay. She said, like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me falsely endorsed Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. Why would they do that? Like, it's just some moves some people make. It's like, that's never going to work. Why would you do that? It recently conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for the LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially for the first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to register. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I'll link where to register and find early voting dates in my info. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady. All right. I mean, not the most substantial endorsement I've ever read, but it seems like mostly she's voting because of the dangers of AI and misinformation, LGBT rights, IVS, and women's rights, which is like, I don't know, none of that's surprising, right? She was probably going to do all of that all along. Did she endorse? She endorsed Hillary, right? I was just telling a friend about this, and my friend who was a big Taylor Swift fan was like, Taylor Swift never involves herself in politics. And I was like, I'm pretty sure she endorsed Biden in 2020 and Hillary in 2016. Am I wrong? Let me look that up. I would say, like, if I was to rate that endorsement, it's a pretty meh one. It could have had a little bit more chutzpah to it. You know what I mean? Let's see. Wealth and philanthropy. No. Social activism. In 2020, Swift urged her fans to check their voters' registration, blah, 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 and endorse Joe Biden. Yeah, she did endorse Joe Biden. There you go. I don't know about 2016. Let me see. What happens if I control F? Oh, there's 100 fucking... Taylor Swift's Wikipedia is nuts, dude. There's 117 2016. All right. I'm out. At least she did 2020. We know that much, right? Oh, this poll can end. Look up Clinton. Oh yeah, good idea. Oops. Clinton. No, maybe she didn't endorse Hillary Clinton. Okay, well, she did endorse Biden according to Wikipedia. Hello, Adrian. Can we watch the trailer for the Trump movie? I think they'll claim me. I'm not sure. I know movie trailers claim people all the time. Maybe this one won't because it's like being independently funded. Does anybody know for sure about that? Do you think the debate would have changed anyone's voting plans? Not significant enough to swing the election, I don't think. CNN poll has Harris 63, Trump 37% in terms of who won the debate. I'm surprised it's not higher, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. Taylor did not endorse Hillary Clinton in 2016. She regretted that, but was not at all political before Trump. Okay, gotcha. Does your dad know Mr. Beat is also a history teacher? I don't think my dad knows anything about Mr. Beat. People say I wouldn't risk it. Bishop says I wouldn't risk it watching the trailer. Yeah, I just don't want to get claimed. Trump caused many people to become political and activists, including me. Okay, I don't deny that. If Trump wins, he'll imprison all CNN and MSNBC employees. That would be nuts, right? CNN viewers skew left, so that poll would not be surprising if the debate was closer to a draw. Is that true? Do CNN viewers actually skew left, or is that just something people say online? Some like right-wing bros like, dude, CNN is just watched by liberals, bro. It's like, I don't know if that's actually true. I'm getting so sick of, like, I saw the Nelk boys posted like some podcast with RFK Jr. and the title was like, who really controls our government? And it's like, or RFK Jr. tells us who really controls our government. It's like, I'm getting so sick of these like right-wing bros online just like the same old bullshit, like who controls our government, like immigrant. It's just like, it's the same old shit. It's getting so annoying and it's just so meaningless, especially all this stuff about like who controls our government, bro. Yes, remember to give this video a like. Hey Sam, now that you don't have an excuse of watching some lame video, are you man enough to apologize to me and the entire city of Philadelphia? Nah, I don't like the Eagles. No apology. If you watch comments online, it's pretty clear that CNN appeals to the audience on the left. Can we let's see if we can confirm this. Political ideology of CNN viewers. Let's see. Comments in the Ravens season opener. Oh man, it was fucking tragic, you know, to lose by like this much of a toe. I'm just so sick of fucking Pat Mahomes, dude. He's so good and it's so annoying. I mean, the Ravens are obviously going to be good this year. I'm not super worried about it, but that was a tough loss to swallow. I'm just sick of losing to the Chiefs. Share of consumers who watch CNN in the United States as of April 2017 by political affiliation. All right, so it leans. Wait, what is this? So what is this? What 61% say that they watch? Right? So if you count independents and Republicans, there are more independents and Republicans that say they watch CNN than Democrats. So that proves my point, right? Boom. And this is 2017, so this is not even up to date. They've probably gone further. I don't know what's happened since then, but this is probably the latest data we have. So when people tell you, dude, everybody who watches CNN is a liberal, just be like, actually, more Republicans and independents say they watch CNN than Democrats do. I know it's old data, but you know, it's hard to get new data on that. 2017 is old data. I know, but it's hard to get brand new data on stuff that's this specific. Trump happened? Trump was happening in 2017 too. Independents outweigh two parties. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure this is the same amount of Democrats, the same amount of independents. There's 2,202 people polled. The same amount of each. This is not leaning based off of the amount of each party. CNN is the OG fake news of the right, true or not? I'm not sure what that means. Trump had it in the bag, and as soon as she brought up rallies, he completely lost it. I would not say he had it in the bag, and I would say that was a foregone conclusion. He was always going to lose it at some point. You are super disrespectful and entitled to not just say you're sorry to a supporter. I don't like the Eagles. What am I supposed to say? I don't like the Eagles. I'm not going to change that. I don't like the Eagles. I love you, T-Girl, and I appreciate you supporting my stream, but I don't like the Eagles. What am I supposed to say? Hillary lost because DOJ meddled in the election. No 33,000 emails found. That's one thing that I find interesting too, is like a lot of like my more like, I don't know, free thinking friends, right? They're often like, you know, Democrats, and I saw what was his name, Lex Friedman, say he's reading some book about how Democrats and big tech meddled in the election. Every party, all powers that be, left, right, center, they all try to put their hand in the cookie jar of the elections, right? So you could say, yeah, oh, the DOJ meddled in the election by publishing this story about Hillary Clinton that didn't end up being true. You could say about that Hunter Biden, et cetera, et cetera. The only person, the only entity that has actually tried to overturn an election is Donald Trump, period. The Cowboys absolutely killed the Browns. Yeah, I mean, but the Browns look terrible. I'm not sure if that means, I don't know. It's week one. People like to jump out and, make all these proclamations after week one of football. The NFL changes a lot over the season. And, the Cowboys are good, no doubt. Are they as good as they showed against the Browns? Time will tell, I guess. No, Hillary lost because Dems were complacent. Actually, Hillary lost because look at the keys to the White House. That's why she lost. CNN is a news media source with a all-sides media bias TM of lean left one. While some critics have claimed that CNN is shifting from left to right, the network has stated that it remains focused. I think CNN is pretty balanced overall. If you look at the data, I don't think you'll find it leaning one way or the other in a super hard direction. Who does your dad mainly root for in football? He's a Giants fan, a New York Giants fan. Were the CNN moderators better than ABC's? I don't know. They were both fine, not great. It's hard to say. The Jets sucked. That was so nice to see. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. Never have. Jets I'm kind of neutral on, but yeah, I was happy to see Aaron Rodgers lose. Republicans claim Democrats are flooding illegals in to vote illegally in our elections. Okay, prove it. Prove it. Aaron Rodgers has gotten crazy. Maybe so, but I've always been an Aaron Rodgers hater, so that didn't change anything. Man, there's a lot of Jets hate in the chat, huh? Do I watch NHL matches? Not really. I don't really watch hockey that much. What is up, Steve, Bob, JD? The House is cracking down on this with their new bill. House Speaker is investigating this in terms of the Democrats flooding illegals to vote. None of that, what you said, proves it. They're just actions taken by Republicans. Nothing that you have said has proven that. You're not a Caps fan? I am a Caps fan, but I don't really watch much hockey. Yeah, if I had to root for a hockey team, it'd be the Caps. Sam, mute this conspiracy theorist Republican. I like having people come in of any political ideology come in chat. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm starting to get peeved now, like when people are just being like racist about it. I don't know if what he said was necessarily racist other than just like misinformed. Are the Lions going to make it back to the championship game? Man, their offense is really good. I don't know. Again, it's week 1. It's too soon to tell. You play football in high school? I did. I was a defensive end. If the keys are the set, does the debate even matter? No. Rick says, I wanted to see Lions and the Ravens in the Super Bowl last year. I think everybody did. Everybody in the country wanted a Lions-Ravens Super Bowl, and we got a 49ers-Chiefs Super Bowl. What nobody wanted to see. Jank was really impressed with Harris's debate performance for what it's worth. It was good. It was a good debate performance. If people are spreading racist conspiracy theories like illegals invading and rigged elections, then they're bad faith actors who waste time and derail reasonable debate. I agree with that, but I also feel like you have to stamp out that fire because that fire can spread. And look, it has spread. I feel like so many people in our country do believe those things, that illegals are invading and our elections are rigged. So it's a hard balancing act. It's like, yeah, I agree. Like, you don't want to invest your time and energy into those debates. But then again, if you ignore them, the fire can spread. Is it possible that Netanyahu could have an arrest warrant issued for him this year by the ICC? Do you think that could cause the scandal key to flip? No. Scandal key only affects the president. Michael Nightwolf says, I was mentioning it and I was bringing it up to Sam as a talking point to see if Sam heard about it. I'm a libertarian. What the fuck? Laugh aloud. Okay. It was unclear that was your intention. Niners also did pretty well without a starting running back. Yeah, Niners look good too, for sure. Wallace is going to cook JD so bad. I sure hope so, man. I don't hate anybody. I really don't. But I just don't like that guy, JD Vance, man. I just don't like that dude. He just rubs me the wrong way. Harris could have mentioned she's married to a Jewish man and she supports the two-state solution. Well, she did mention the two-state solution. And it's like, I don't know. It's like at a certain point, it's like, how many times does she need to defend her life? You know what I mean? That's why I was kind of irked with them asking her the black question. I mean, I know they wanted to put Trump on the spot like he should be about like the whole she's not black, she is black thing. But it's like, how many times does she have to be like, my husband's Jewish, my dad's black, my mom's... It's just like, it gets tiresome. Like, she doesn't need to keep saying that. If you could pick one to imprison, who would you pick? Trump, Netanyahu, or Orban? I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't like the idea of prison, but I also am sick of powerful people doing fucked up shit and getting away with it. Throw them all in jail. How about that? I hope that doesn't come back to bite me one day. I don't know why I would, but I just felt weird saying that. I don't really want to answer that. My answer to that question is I don't want to answer that question. It's been too many years since a real debate on the policy, just finger pointing on these past days. I think I think there was policy discussion, especially from Harris. Your boy Alex, what's up? Aaron Baker says, yeah, that question was so uncalled for, the black question. White women and men don't need to be questioned disrespectfully on their race like that. True. Very true. Yeah, it's like, why is it that the black woman is constantly questioned about her identity? Mark Burnett's apprentice must have tape on Trump using the N-word. Maybe so. I don't think that would shake his base, even that. I don't think there's anything that would shake his base. MJJ says, being an indigenous person, it blows my mind on how people believe the dog/cat eating story. Seriously. People, I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of wild how people take stories and run with it. It's like, oh, we saw a video of someone eating a cat. It's like, okay, do you know where that video was? Do you know who was the person eating the cat? Do you know if the video is real? It's like nobody seems to ask questions anymore. Many Americans were exposed to Kamala for the first time tonight. She did need to introduce herself in background. I swear to God, someone has said that someone said that at her first rally. Oh, she needs to introduce herself. Someone said that during the DNC. Oh, she needs to introduce herself. Someone said that during the CNN interview. Oh, she needs to introduce herself. Someone said that. Dude, she's introduced herself. Come on. 22 says, tonight I feel bad for Haitians and Venezuelans and all immigrants who brought into the American dream. We were just cheap labor and or brain drain. Oh, well, I feel bad for them too. I think, people get so defensive. It's like, you don't want America to be safe. You don't believe in laws. It's like, of course I do. But it's like, you don't have to do what you're doing in such a racist manner. You really don't. Sam, you itching to play video games lately? It's been a while since you picked up that controller. No, yeah, I need to get back on my video game grind. Nahiro Chan says, yo, I have an idea. Watch the Kennedy-Nixon debate instead right now. I don't feel like it. Why does your dad dislike Hillary? I don't think he necessarily does or doesn't. People want to believe these fucked up things. I guess so. But why do they want to believe them? That's what I don't understand. Aaron Baker says, it's sad because as a person of color in a corporate environment, we see that bias every day. It's like you have to validate your credentials because of how you look. It hurts. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's so fucked up. It's like Trump says he's German. Has anybody ever confirmed that he's German? He also says, he's Scottish. Has anybody looked at, has he taken a DNA test? Thank you, Michael. Michael says, I love your video game stream. Thank you. Appreciate that. Media is so siloed these days. No surprise if this is the first time people are getting to know Harris. I don't know. I just feel like every time people have said that, she needs to introduce herself. She needs to introduce herself. It's like, well, how many times does she need to introduce herself? She did it on her first rally. She did it at the DNC. She did it, you know what I mean? Like, how many more times does she need to introduce herself? She was also ran for president. She was also the vice president. I find it weird that, like, there's this, like, idea that, like, no one knows who she is. It's like, I don't think that's true. Blue says they need something to be afraid of, so they pick immigrants. Yeah, but why do they need something to be afraid of? I guess every party, every political party needs, like, a boogeyman and, like, someone to blame. Like, you could say the left blames capitalism and corporations and the right blames immigrants, right? But I think there's a lot more evidence that, I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what I was about to say with that. Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to every network in the spin room complaining about rigged votes. Isn't anybody else just tired of these motherfuckers always whining? I mean, there was this whole movement in 2016 that left people are whiners and snowflakes, but it's like, bro, the right wing has taken that and run with it 1 trillion miles. I mean, they're always whining about shit. They're always airing their grievances. They're always saying it's rigged, it's against them. I mean, I'm so fucking tired of it. It's so exhausting. Scare tactics and fear mongering is their strategy. Yeah, it's a strategy. I don't know. It's just so demoralizing that's the way politics works. And like, there's so many smart people in politics, and I feel like morally upstanding people, and I just feel like they get corrupted so easily, and they just say yes to everything. And I feel like there's nobody in the room that's willing to like have a spine and stand up and be like, maybe this is fucked up. Maybe we shouldn't do this. You know what I mean? I don't know. Are we wrong to blame capitalism and U.S. imperialism? Well, what I was going to say is there's probably more, I don't know, I don't want to go there. I think, yes, you are more valid than the latter, than it being immigrants. I think there is real problems with the hyper corporatization of America, and I think there's a lot of evidence to prove that. On the other hand, I don't think there's a lot of evidence to prove that immigrants are destroying our country. Maybe that's what I was trying to say. If you have no policy, you win by fear. But they could have policy. There's no reason why they couldn't have policy. Even if their policy is we're for limited government, that's still policy. You can still enact and put in legislation and make laws that make the government more smaller and more limited. You know what I mean? So I don't get why they always have no policies. Like, you guys could have a policy. Maybe it's just because it's boring. You know, that stance is boring, but I don't know. What was a stand or moment for you personally? What does that mean? The one that stood out to me the most was the illegal migrants getting gender transition surgeries in prison. Yeah, that was pretty wild. That statement like hit all like far right trigger words, like illegal migrants, transgenders, surgeries, prison, free. Like every trigger, they're like just like triggered. Mass deportation of immigrants would lead to an economic collapse. Yeah, I think there's quite a bit of research on that to prove that yeah, it would cause an economic collapse. Republicans know they can't win on their policies alone because they only help rich and powerful and are super unpopular. That's why they have to appeal to racism and sexism to win. But I'm saying, like, yes, if their policies are only for the rich and powerful, that's bad, and they shouldn't run on that. But, like, they could have policies, like, Republicans could have policies, again, that, like, made sense to a lot of Americans, again. Things about limited government, things about fiscal conservatism. You could run on those things, right? Am I tripping here? Like, why don't they? I don't understand why they don't. I do understand the fact that they're boring. You know, they're not as headline grabbing as a lot of like the more sensational stuff about immigration and guns and stuff like that. But it's like, you would think at least one Republican somewhere in America. I mean, there are, of course, but like, at least, you know, I don't know. It feels like they should it feels like there is policy that they could run on that would appeal to a large swath of Americans, and they just don't for some reason. Cats eating transgendered Marxist immigrant prisoners. There you go. That's all the trigger words. Trump's mom was an immigrant. Good point. Ever see Schindler's List? Yeah, it's like one of my favorite movies ever. Imagine the military break down everyone's door to look for immigrants. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's. Not only is it not a realistic or viable option to do that, it's also, you open up a Pandora's box of evil when you do that. And of course, all his wives, yes. But that's the thing. They're all white immigrants. So it's different to him. How much do you think Taylor Swift's endorsement will matter? I've said this before. I don't think a lot. I think, I don't think a lot. I think she's probably got a lot of Republican listeners and a lot of left-leaning listeners. I don't think there's a huge amount of undecided folks who are going to make the decision based off Taylor Swift. Right, and I know all his wives were immigrants. They'll also say, oh, they all came legally, right? Which is true. That's different for sure. But there's also a reason why they were able to come legally, because it was a rich man who was able to get his wives here legally, or because they were models or whatever reason they got here. T-Girl says, I just saw Beetlejuice today and I loved it. Okay, I'll see it then, if you recommend it. Alan said these polls like CNN poll are typically skewed Republican. Why? Interesting. I wonder why. Taylor's endorsement might not matter to existing voters, but she can help register new voters. Yeah, she can. I feel like people always say that, and I know she's different. I always feel like, not Republican celebrities are getting people to register to vote, et cetera, but I don't know. I don't think it's big enough to sway the election one way or the other. And again, I do acknowledge that she is different, but I still don't think that she can influence an election personally. H-Fan says, the only thing I'm slightly concerned about with the economy is that the government could temporarily shut down later this month. It's too late. Yeah, I think my dad answered that in the live. I don't think he's worried about that, the government shutdown. Red Hood says, I don't know if you answered this already, but what do you think the Electoral College margins for Harris, if you believe she'll win? I forgot. I did a map a while ago. Someone's got to clip that for me. Someone clip that for me and send it to me so I can just post that, and so I can answer it easily. Do you know about Patrick Mahomes' wife's political views and her relationship to Taylor Swift? Yeah, I know they're like besties and she's a Trump supporter, but who cares? Taylor Swift can mobilize people if she goes to swing states. You really think so? I don't think so. Like, think about Pennsylvania, right? It was like a 20,000 person difference. You think she can make a difference in 30,000 votes? I don't think so. All right. It's 9:30. I gotta take my dog for a walk, and I'm hungry. So I think I'm gonna sign off. I feel slightly relieved, as a person who's supporting Kamala, that she came out, she did a good job, no ifs, ands, or buts, and according to the Keys, she's gonna win in November. So good news, everybody. Everybody should feel good. Good debate. Keys out. If you're a Kamala Harris supporter, you should be feeling good. If you're a Trump supporter, you should not be feeling good. All right. Good night, everybody. I think my dog heard me say Keeks, you want to go for a walk? Yeah, he wants to go. You want to go for a walk? Yep. All right. And with that, good night.